What is the vote by mail mail-out?
Vote by mail, when we start sending it out, it's for our military and overseas voters. We'll send out 45 days before the election for those who have made a request. And then if you are an eligible voter stateside, and once you've made your request, we will send those initial ballots out between 40 and 33 days before the election. And after that, if you make a request, then we will send it out within 2 days of your making that request, so long as you've made that request 12 days before the election by 5 o'clock.
What steps does a voter need to take if they choose to vote by mail?
If the voter wants to vote by mail, they're going to need to contact our office in some form, either by sending us a written request or calling our office or going online. They'll need to provide information that we can verify that it's them. So they're going to confirm the address they want us to mail the ballot to. They're also going to give us personally identifiable information. So we're going to know that you've provided your birth date, your address, and either your Florida ID, driver's license, or the last four of your Social Security, whichever we can verify. So we're going to know that it's you that has made that request. Once they've done that, then we will be able to put on their record and we'll send out a vote by mail ballot. So this is our inserter. So once a voter requests the ballot, then we're going to put the ballot together for them. So it starts with they're going to have this specific ballot coming through, and if there are special instructions, for example, a candidate has withdrawn from a race, we'll also have those instructions in that ballot. They'll also have their secrecy sleeve, their instructions, which also includes the I voted sticker, and their return envelope. That's all going to go through here. It'll be put into the outside envelope. As that goes through, in this section, they're going to take the voter's information and they're going to spray it on. On the ballot envelope, it will show your name, your address, and the precinct to which you're registered on the envelope itself, not on your ballot. As it's going through here, it's also measuring the thickness and the weight. So that's how we know we're only sending one ballot and that everything is in there. If it's too thick or too thin, it's going to drop it out. Every 100 ballots that go through, we have it drop out just so we can do a spot check. So every 100 ballot gets brought out and run through. So once we have put everything in through the inserter, then we're going to get ready to send it off to the post office. So when we send it to the post office, it comes to our sorter. You can see these are the ballots that were just put together from the inserter. So we know that these are to voters who have requested that vote by mail ballot. This machine actually takes a picture of every envelope that we're sending out. So we're able to, if a voter says, I didn't get one, we can actually show the envelope that we sent. And it's going to divide it into whether it's a in-county, out of county, if we have zip code +4. So it's going to divide that up. And after we have finished that process, then it's going to be all boxed up and ready to go to the post office with the required ballot only information for the post office. Then once we send it out to you, if you are concerned that we didn't get it back, you can track that information. You can call our office and there are ways that you can track that as well.
How often will a voter need to make a vote by mail request?
They'll need to make a vote by mail request after every general election. So if they've made a request in, say, July, and they've made it for all elections, that could cover both the primary and the general election. But when the general election is over, they'll need to do a new request if they choose to continue to vote by mail for the next election.
Can someone make a vote by mail request for family members or neighbors?
Yes, a voter can make a vote by mail request for a family member or a neighbor, but they'll have to have an affidavit, and that affidavit is also going to need to have that personally identifiable information.
Where can I return my ballot?
You can return your ballot by dropping it in the U.S. mail, and the postage is prepaid in Palm Beach County. You can also drop it at a secure ballot intake station at one of our 4 offices. You can also bring it inside the office if you prefer. And during the early voting hours, you can also drop it at an early voting site. So this is the sorter for once we get those ballots back from a voter, whether it came from the Postal Service or from one of our secure ballot intake stations or dropped off at one of our offices. So you'll see it's going to come in here. They've all been, they're all set ready to go. This will again take a picture of the ballot as it comes through. One of the things that's important about this part of it is it's a closed loop process. So if we didn't send this ballot envelope out, our system won't accept it coming back. So there is that barcode on there, so we know that we sent this envelope out, and if it doesn't recognize it for any reason, it was either a fraudulently sent in envelope or it was an envelope from a previous election, it's going to kick that out and it'll go to a different path. It will run through this process, and then we divide it up into different precincts or cities. So once these have gone through the sorter and it takes the photos of it, we're going to be able to pull up this ballot and track it through the barcode. The fact that we sent it out, this is going to be the history of that ballot, where it's been, and then it's going to be able to show you this is the envelope when we mailed it to the voter, and then it's also going to be able to show that full envelope when it came back, and then normally when it'll come back, and this will be the signature that we'll then use to verify those ballots before they are opened.
Why do I need to sign my envelope?
The reason you need to sign your envelope is, again, it's another one of our security measures so that we can make sure that it is you who returned your ballot. So when we receive that signature, that is your oath and your affidavit stating that that is your vote and that is your only vote. And we're going to check that signature against the signature we have on file to verify that it is in fact you who returned it.
What if the post office loses my ballot?
If the post office loses your ballot, then you can call and get another one. A voter is allowed to get up to 3 ballots, so we can send 2 replacement ballots, and we will send that to you. When you send it back, you don't have to worry about what happens because we're only going to take that first ballot received.
Will I be notified when my ballot has been counted?
Yes, if you can go on our website to confirm that. So once we've gone through that sort of process and we've already done the Rely vote, so we have confirmed that the signatures matched, anything that didn't match has been already pulled out through that second sort of process and referred to the canvassing board. But if everything did match and it's ready to be opened, it will come here in these transport cabinets. There's always going to be the ballot control sheet, so we're going to be able to tell how many we have, and they'll be counting those. This is our OPEX machine. It's our opening machine. It helps again with speed and also to help make sure that nobody knows who that voter is as we're extracting that ballot. So they're going to come through here. It's going to open the ballot. He's going to have it. He'll pull it out. You'll notice that as he does, he can't see whose ballot that is. That's underneath there, so we're not ever, once it pulls out of there and it comes here for them to separate from the secrecy sleeves and everything, there's no way for any of them to know whose ballot they're looking at. So once he pulls it out, then it's going to go to the team where they're going to separate the ballot from the secrecy sleeve and keep those separated. We also have something where we have a hole. All of our envelopes have a hole. They're strategically placed, so they're nowhere where we could see any vote. But this is how we know at the end that we didn't leave any ballot materials in, especially when you have more than one page. And so at the end, we stick one of these through here so that we're positive nothing was left in.
What measures do you have in place to guard against ballot tampering?
So ballot tampering, we have a number of security measures. One of them will be the physical security of our building, and that we make sure, again, that we have ballot custody forms to know where that ballot is at all times. We have cameras, we have locked rooms, we have security guards. If we're in a recount situation, we'll also have the sheriff's department here. So we have a lot of physical security measures. When it comes to cybersecurity, our office works very closely with the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the local law enforcement offices to make sure that we are stopping any bad actors from getting into our systems and tampering with those. All of our systems that we use for ballot tabulation are certified by the state, and it's gone through that full certification process.
Why can voters trust their supervisors of elections?
Supervisors of elections are nonpartisan in the work that they do, and they're committed to making sure that our process is secure, it's transparent, it's accurate, and that the voters can feel good about it. I think a lot of supervisors are going to go out of their way to do a lot of voter education so that voters understand the process and understand how we're implementing the laws that the legislature has passed, so that we can make sure that the vote that you're wanting to be cast is in fact what you're going to see.
Florida Supervisors of Elections and I want you to know that you can have confidence in our elections. We work hard every day to protect the vote and earn your trust. Visit dos.fl.gov/elections to learn more.